Hello and welcome back. Today you will learn why I call them my humble adventures. After my previous painting of the droid Lola from the Star Wars Obi-Wan TV series, I felt very motivated to paint another painting like this in my sketchbook. But this painting turned out a lot more challenging. I haven't really painted many faces at such a small scale. I've only done that once before and it didn't go well, but I thought it's been a long time since then, and I might as well try it again. As you can see, it didn't go very well. With watercolors, you have to work from light to dark, and once you've painted something very dark, you can no longer lighten it. If you're working on high quality paper, you might be able to lift some of the paint, but this will also depend on whether or not the color is a staining color or a non-staining one. But the paper that I'm working with here is very cheap paper, and in general the paints don't lift very well, and you can only lift a little bit before the paper starts to disintegrate. The paint also dries very quickly on this paper, which makes it more difficult to lift. The other problem that I had is that I used a pen of masking fluid, and I did not check beforehand if the paper would handle this well. This paper does rip if you use masking tape, and I should have guessed that the same would happen with the masking fluid that I used for the blade of a lightsaber. But I still managed to get to a place where I like this painting, and I used gouache to achieve this. I mixed white gouache with the paints that I had, and that makes the paint more opaque. And that's how I covered the areas where I didn't like the way that I had painted. In the places where the paper had ripped, I also used white gouache, and I think that helped to sort of bind the paper back together, at least to some degree. You can still tell that something went wrong with this painting if you look very closely, but I managed to salvage it well enough that I'm quite satisfied with how it turned out. So if you're working with cheap paper, just make sure you have a bit of white gouache at hand.